Hey Aries, welcome to your timeless reading. I trust that this will find you when you most need it. And as always, use your discernment when listening to tarot readings because you know your life and your situations better than anyone else. These are general readings, and I'm also reading energy, which means I'm looking more at like soul lessons, patterns, food for thought. It's meant as confirmation or a little bit of guidance, but I'm not really here to tell you what to do or necessarily what's going to happen. That's how I read. And I'm also pulling from the Wild Unknown Tarot and here it is, the Devil's Deck by Shiva Honey. And this is a companion book called The Devil's Tome that has some rituals in it, so you might want to check that out. I have a link below. And I'm got here cards coming out. I have the Magician in reverse, the Ace of Pentacles in reverse, the Nine of Swords, Son of Swords in reverse, Four of Cups in reverse, Mother of Wands, and the Ten of Wands. Anything else want to come out? Perhaps not. Oh, one more. Ace of Swords in reverse. Okay, and then I'll pull from the Devil's Deck. This it's like very nice card stock. Like, look at this gilded. It's so beautiful. And it has like these, you know. Oops. Okay, great. Aries, we have knowledge, and we have Molior. I'm gonna have to read that. Okay. So I'll just kind of like show you some of what we're contending with. It seems like there might be a little bit of stress, Aries. Are you feeling stressed out? Are you feeling a little burdened? And a little stressed out? Maybe? Yeah? Perhaps? Feeling a little stuck? Feeling a little... Yeah. Well, we'll deal with it. Well, like, let's start, I think, over here with the Devil's Deck. I think that'll be... We got knowledge. Oh, and I literally just pulled to that. So, now is the time to focus on self-preservation and protection. What are you afraid of? What are you afraid of? Who is bringing anxiety into your world? Use this time as an opportunity to focus your energy on your own strength and power. Tune out any negativity you feel other people throwing at you. Become grounded. Feel grounded. Commit to your own well-being. Yeah. So, I mean, these are like a perfect pair of cards, which is that it definitely feels, I mean, or it doesn't even feel, it's just like we were just told, yeah, that like there might be a sense of, I would even say like obligation, particularly with this like Ten of Wands, that might be stressing you out a little bit. And I feel like through whatever stress it is that you're going through and whatever obligations there may be and whatever, like, however you feel burdened, I think that like anyone in that situation would feel disconnected from themselves and would feel like, you know, I would say with like this Ace of Swords, a lack of truth, and maybe like also at this point a lack of like knowing who to trust, like whether even to trust yourself maybe sometimes. And then I'm gonna read from knowledge now. Knowledge. Oh, here we go. Okay. Embrace your curious nature and embark on a voyage of discovery. Invest time in understanding more about yourself and the world around you. Be a seeker. What do you want to learn more about? Who are the best sources of information? What don't you know? Open yourself to new points of view. Engage with knowledge as a journey, not an endpoint. Don't be afraid to ask questions and open yourself to new experiences. What wisdom can you share with other people? Okay, so, I mean, I don't think we want to stay stuck here for too long. But it definitely might be kind of where you're at least starting when, if this reading resonates with you, then it's like kind of where you're at, right? Which is, I think, particularly in this deck, the Nine of Swords, it's like these like eyeballs and like, I don't even know, like it's just like kind of a mess of worms, and maybe is that like a decapitated claw or something? It feels like maybe you're like dealing with other people's shit, or like somehow other people's irresponsibility is falling on you to take care of. Again, it feels like a lot of this has to do with other people, you being burdened, you having to kind of pick up everyone's slack. And then the Amolior is saying like, well, like how can you protect yourself a little bit from this? And I think this was true for Aquarius too, a little bit, which was just kind of like, and Libra. So Libra, Aries, and Aquarius seem to be going through similar themes. You are Aries, but like there seems to be kind of in the air, and I'm doing these readings as of Mercury retrograde and an ongoing constant pandemic. So it kind of feels like other people not taking responsibility is falling on you. But in that state, I feel like you're just like depleted, right? Because like the Magician, this would be about like wanting to manifest things, but then feeling like you have no energy to do so, and maybe not even knowing what to manifest with this Ace of Pentacles in reverse, right? Like, even if you wanted to kind of get your own thing going to like escape this situation that you're in, I think there would be sort of a in feeling drained, not even having enough energy for the inspiration to know perhaps how to think clearly. Son of Swords being Knight of Swords, which is a card of like a lot of forward movement, kind of having, I would say, a lot of like, there's just like a lack of mental clarity. Like I think it could be like a brain fog type of situation. I'm thinking a little bit about, in my world, there are like these IATSE strikes, which is basically in the entertainment industry, like the crew is treated like shit, and they like work 16 plus 20-hour days, 7 days a week, have no life of their own, kind of like aren't paid enough, aren't like given either living wages or just like living conditions, like kind of just being worked to the bone. So that, even if like, it could be that, honestly, for you, it could be like you have this day job and the day job is just to pay your bills, but what you really want to do is write, or maybe do tarot readings on YouTube, or who knows, maybe you're an artist, maybe you're a musician. With these, it's like whatever's going on is taking so much from you that you don't even have the energy when you get home to do the thing that you really want to do, which is a tale as old as time, right? This happens to a lot of people. And, the brain fog, not being able to think clearly, not being able to see the truth, not being able to maybe there's bullshit going on, but like not knowing how to like communicate what's happening, or even being like gaslit is coming to me, like someone like kind of denying your sense of reality, or not like acknowledging the truth of what's happening, and or just telling you like this is the way things are, or like suck it up, or like don't leave that terrible job, because if you do, how are you going to get a better job? I'm not saying this is happening for all Aries, but just like the energy at play is definitely kind of like being put upon by your circumstances. So there's definitely, with this, I think, a huge call for you to maybe start making some changes. And I think that these changes might have to come with letting people be angry at you, for example, or kind of letting things fall apart is what I want to say. As in, with these 10 of Wands, if you are carrying all the burdens of a situation, And like if, and you might hear me saying this advice and be like, well, if I don't do it though, it's not going to get done. And maybe I'm just asking the question. Again, I don't tell you what to do, but like I'm asking the question, like, what would happen if you let things fall apart a little bit? Well, I know things would fall apart, but like, an example was of like a show, no, like a little tale I heard was like a person was going into work, doing a really great job, and they were up for a raise, didn't get it, and weren't acknowledged, and they were given the advice by like their mentor, like, take your sick days, take 2 or 3 days off. And the person did, and then they came back, and then they were like given their raise, right? So there's kind of like a little bit of like needing with this, because in their absence people realized how much that person was doing and how much they were carrying, and so then they were like, oh, this person is worth, more than we were acknowledging, and so we are willing to like pay more. I'm not saying maybe even that you want to be paid more, because it sounds like maybe what you really want to do is carve out time for yourself to manifest a completely different set of circumstances, new job, new opportunities. So I think you are going to have to like make changes, and some of these changes might be like, an example would be like letting yourself be missed, and in letting yourself be missed and then letting things kind of go to shit, let them, because ultimately, if this reading is resonating with you, whatever this isn't completely all yours, right? You're like probably carrying a lot, particularly with the message we got with this. It feels like you need to protect your energy from other people, energy vampires particularly. And it's okay to have boundaries, and I think boundaries are really necessary at this point. So let's continue. We got 4 of Cups in reverse, which in this deck is a rat on top of those cups, and we got the Mother of Wands, and we got knowledge. So, I'm gonna come back to this. But we got these, like, actually, maybe I won't. We got these 2 snakes. And the snakes can be related to Kundalini energy, which is, I think talking about, like, the chakra system a little bit. And with Mother of Wands, it's a feminine fire energy. It's Queen of Wands. It's, like, really about creativity. And she's, like, in this, protecting her eggs and, like, protecting that wand. She's protecting her nest. And then we got this snake that's, like, all ready to, like, learn some ABCs. So I feel like this snake medicine is the medicine for you. Which is, like, that it's okay to bite back is, like, first of all, part of what I'm getting. But also, like, that with this, I think it's, like, really protecting, like, I think that maybe, I don't know how this would be, because, like, you're an Aries, you're a warrior, you're cardinal fire, like, you like to go out and get it, and, like, also you, like, don't really mind a fight, in my experience, Aries, like, you're not, like, one to back down, so maybe it's not even so much about fighting as it is about, okay, here's what I'm getting. Like, you need to protect yourself. We've talked about that a lot already. So with knowledge, it might be, like, empowering yourself on your rights, too. Like, empowering yourself to fight with knowledge. So an example would be, like, I mentioned that, like, IATSE strike in the entertainment industry. And I've worked in the entertainment industry in, like, lowly, like, production assistant positions, and I can share that, like, one time I wasn't being given my lunch breaks, and so I started taking them on my own, right? I think that's a little bit of this energy. I'm like, they're not going to give it to me? Well, I'm going to give it to myself, right? Like, I don't care what they just asked me to do. I'm going to stop and eat lunch. And that was many years ago. So I did get fired. Which was fine because it did create opportunities for me to do more of what I actually wanted to be doing, and I'm doing fine. You know, that was an instance of me letting things fall apart and not taking on burdens that were mine. And okay, so like, I'm not trying to get you fired. What I am trying to say is, like, that was many years ago. That was like 2014 or 13, right? So now here we are in the year 2021, and there's this whole strike, right? And like, there's all these people who are knowing their knowledge, knowing their rights, knowing that this is illegal, right? And creating, like, finding legal support from, like, I'm sure lawyers and such, and like making a case for themselves about why they need fair work conditions, and this, again, this protective energy of like your, with the eggs, like being like kind of this potential, like, so it's kind of twofold, right? It's like, there's whatever might be a work situation, but it doesn't have to be work. It could be a relationship where like your partner is just totally draining you, right? But I think the eggs are symbolizing your own potential that you're not really getting to tap into here, because you can't even think clearly because of all this stress and blah blah blah. And the whole mission right now is to protect yourself. So I think like Mother of Wands is also a very creative energy, and I talked about chakras, getting in alignment, and also making the case. So it doesn't have to be legal dealings. It could be like you're in a partnership where your partner is draining you. And I think with the knowledge, it would be like, maybe it's just self-knowledge, right? Like, why am I in this partnership that drains me? Why am I in this partnership that stresses me out? Because there's the difference between like a job you have to go to and a relationship you don't have to be in. But maybe you feel like you have to be in. So I think knowledge is just like kind of like asking those questions, like, where did this situation start? Where did it come from? What do I need to do to make change? What information do I need about myself or the conditions or the circumstances? Maybe it is a legal case, but it's all about protecting your own potential and your own creativity, and kind of knowing that that's what's at stake here is your own growth in a way. And I think with the chakras, it's just like, if you're not in that like kind of alignment, and if you're in conditions that are just sucking your energy, you're not able to like regulate your emotions probably either. And like, that would make sense why you would be having brain fog, and why you don't feel like inspired, or like why you can't create, because there's just no energy left, right? So I think this is like partly taking care of energy leaks, taking care of your creativity, and like empowering yourself with information, whether that is practical, as in like getting a lawyer, if you're going through a divorce. I mean, I'm getting a little bit of lawyer vibes. And yeah, like not being afraid to bite back, but it's all about not like fist fighting. It's all about like kind of having the arguments either within internally, like having the internal argument of like why it's okay and like necessary to like let go of this partner or this like draining, stressful situation or this obligation, why it's okay to take some steps back, why you need to protect all of that. Okay, so then we got the Four of Cups in reverse, and this is a mouse. And I remember in my, like, I took a tarot class with Brandon Alter of the Spiritual Gaze in like 2018. And I don't know why I keep mentioning time dates in this reading, but maybe time like has something to do with what's going on for you. And that could be like, I'm just sorry. Oh, okay. Like maybe that's part of like the knowledge is like, if you keep like a timeline of like when things have happened, that might be part of like giving yourself the information, whether for yourself again or for others, to like see the situation. Because I did mention like a little bit of gaslighty vibes with this. So like part of this is like, if you have it all like laid out, they can't gaslight you anymore about the stress and the, God, there's like another thing. Oh, it was like Gina Davis, I guess, did a study about like how like women's representation in film, like behind and on screen, and like she started her organization and they did like data like analysis for like 2 or 3 years, and like so instead of it just being like a feeling that people could gaslight you out of, like, oh, there aren't a lot of women in film or whatever, then she had like the books, like the data, like the proof, and that was all the knowledge, right? So then people couldn't deny that she had been in this situation where she felt burdened and stressed and like underrepresented and like couldn't like succeed and like flourish, and that's really what this is, like a very like unionize reading. Okay, let's try to get to the Four Cups. I was mentioning the dates and how I took that class, and in that class he was talking about how like in this deck in particular, it's like the rat is like maybe like shitting in that cup or something, and like the Four Cups is kind of like an ennui card of like just being like disappointed and kind of be like, oh no, like there's like rat shit in my cup, you know, like it's dirty and like I can't drink from it and like I can't enjoy. I don't really know what this card is supposed to mean in this deck. I don't know why the artist chose a rat sitting on top of Four Cups, but you know, I mean, this whole reading feels a little bit like dirty dealings anyway, and so I think with this being in reverse, I find that to be a little bit empowering, which is like letting go of the shit, right? Or like not taking anyone's shit anymore. Kind of like whatever has been disappointing and frustrating, I think you're coming to that breaking point where you aren't going to take it anymore. So this isn't going to be an ongoing thing, because it seems like with the Four Cups in reverse, you're acknowledging that you've been unhappy and dissatisfied, and you're like not going to take it anymore, and you're going to start making changes. And that's everything we talked about over here with this. So again, this protecting of yourself could be you know, you having to just get in alignment with yourself too. Again, with Kundalini, a lot of it feels too like right now you're not right with yourself because of this, which is understandable. It's not a judgment thing. It's just acknowledging, like, how can you think clearly when you don't have the energy or time or space or ability to do so? But you're acknowledging that, like, you're dissatisfied, you can't take it anymore, you're not going to take anyone's shit any longer. And that could just be a conversation with yourself. Because again, if what we're talking about is a relationship, then maybe it's like, I mean, I know I was in a relationship where, like, I knew I didn't want to be in it, but, like, I had a hard time, like, accepting that knowledge. And that's sort of what this is. It's like knowing that your creativity and your energy and your vitality, that Kundalini, like, chakra alignment, blah, 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 like, your potential and, like, your growth and all of this that you want to be having is so important to protect, that, like, it's worth whatever needs to change, and it's worth stepping up for yourself, and it's worth calling on this protective energy, whether that is getting help from someone else too in this knowledge process, or just letting yourself know what you already know to be true, that you've, like, kind of been afraid of the truth. Maybe you've been afraid of the truth for too long, and now you have to just kind of, like, fess up that this isn't good. And you will, and you are. If this resonated with you, you will, and you are, and you're doing something. I mean, the Aussie strikes are happening, or are, you know, on the table. Conversations are being had, and that's what it's all about, right? It's about knowing your worth and not taking less than that. So it's an empowering reading, Aries, if it resonated with you. If you liked this, please like and subscribe. And if you Oh, if you'd like, I'm now offering personal readings, and I have links below for my website and to schedule a reading with me. And I would really love to connect one on one because I love doing this and it's a lot of fun. And it'd be nice to hear about you and like kind of explore what's going on with you in a little bit more in-depth personal way. So that's that. Yes, all right. Well, I'll see you again next time. Love you. Bye.